Today in this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to build out this really cool lead magnet and the automated system that goes with it. This lead magnet in particular is a 30-day personalized fitness plan, and it looks like this. And we're using an AI chatbot or a Google form to gather information and then automatically generate this PDF that we send over to our lead via email. And to build the chatbot, we're going to be using a platform called VoiceFlow. This is what it looks like. If you're building alongside me, awesome. If not, and you just want the templates to VoiceFlow, Make.com, OpenAI, all of these AI prompts, then go ahead and hop over into the AWA Pro community and you can find the blueprints there. Let's get building. This is the 30-day fitness plan from Chatbot or Google Form. The tools that we're going to be using today are Make.com, OpenAI, Google Workspace, and VoiceFlow. I already showed you a little bit about the chatbot. In the background, this is Make.com. This is what is mainly doing the magic. Once we gather all of the responses from our lead, we're sending all that data to a webhook in Make.com and then traveling down one of two routes, whether it's a VoiceFlow chatbot or if it's from a Google Form submission. And then we're having an OpenAI assistant take all of their responses and draft up a 30-day fitness plan tailored to them specifically. And then we're pasting in all those variables into a Google Doc template that looks like this, with all of these dynamic fields that you see right here, and then emailing them that PDF. It's quite the build, so let's just dive right in. The very first thing you're going to want to do, if you're building this from scratch, you can hop into ChatGPT and start your vision there. Sometimes what I like to do whenever I'm starting a new build, a new project, I like to start off in ChatGPT and just start conversing to get the ball rolling. And one of the first things you're going to want to do is create a 30-day fitness plan template in a Google Doc. Mine looks like this. I inserted an image in the header, gave it the title. We're going to be mapping in the client's name right here, 30-day personalized fitness plan. And then the fitness assessment. These are all of the questions, or most of them, what we're going to be asking. And then the plan breakdown and overview of the 30-day plan based on the week. So week 1 and then Sunday through Saturday with all of the workouts. They're going to be right there. Week 2, week 3, week 4, and then wrapping it up. I have a warm-up routine, cool-down routine tailored to them, and any additional sections like motivational tips and special instructions and notes. So this is what my Google document template looks like. I created this relatively quick, so it could be better. If you guys want this Google Doc template to use for yourself, then it'll be in the AWA Pro community. So remember, any dynamic field, any variable and value that you want to map into the template, they need to be in these double curly braces right here. So you type double curly braces for open and then type in the field name. So fitness goals could be fitness goal like that, or fitness underscore goal. And then you wrap it up with closing it with 2 new curly braces. And I'll show you down the road how to map in these variables. That's probably going to be at the very end. The next thing we want to do is we want to capture all of these leads in a spreadsheet, in a database. For that, we're going to be using a Google spreadsheet. So I have this Google spreadsheet available right here. This is just some test data that I was running through last night. Our fictional gym that this lead magnet is for Apex Fit. We've got these timestamps, full name, email, all of the information that we're gathering from our leads right here. Again, if you guys want this Google Sheet template, it'll be in the resource files. The next thing we're going to want to do is create a Make.com scenario and get that webhook address. So I'm in Make.com. I created a new scenario and I gave it this name, Personalized Fitness Plan from Chatbot or Form Submission -Demo. The very first module we're going to add is a webhooks, custom webhook. And then we need to add our webhook right here. Let's give it a new name. I like to name my webhooks the exact same as the scenario title for most cases. So I'm just copying this up here and pasting that in right there, hitting save, and it will give us a new webhook address. We'll come back to that, but the next thing we're going to want to do is create the Google Form and Apps script. Opening up a Google Form, you guys are going to need to create this from scratch. I'm giving the title 30-day personalized fitness plan, and then I'm just inserting all of these questions. So what is your name? What is your email address? What is your age? What is your sex? What are your main fitness goals? Options: lose weight, build muscle, improve endurance, tone up, general fitness, and other. What would you describe your current fitness level? Beginner, intermediate, advanced? How many days per week can you commit to working out? 2 to 3 days, 4 to 5 days, 6 to 7 days as options. Where do you prefer to work out? The gym, home, or outdoors? Do you have access to any equipment? Yes, gym equipment. Yes, home equipment or no equipment. Do you have any injuries or health conditions that need to be considered? And then I just have that as a long answer text. What's your current activity level during the day? Sedentary, lightly active, active, very active. How would you like your workouts? Short and intense, moderate and balanced, longer with more variety. And then lastly, anything else you want your coach to know with a long answer text. And you should probably change the appearance, give it a title image, make it look a little more pretty than this. This is just a very basic Google form. Now we could embed this Google form on a website or send a link to someone. We want all of the data to go directly to our make.com scenario as soon as the form is submitted. And in order to do that, we need to create an app script. Back in your Google form, if you go up here to the top right and then go down to app script right here, click into that. And I'm going to show you how to configure this. I'll take you to this editor. So go to this editor right here on the left-hand side, and you'll need to erase or delete all of the code that's already in there. And you're going to want to paste in this code right here. I'll have this available down in the description below and in a separate resource file so that you guys can copy this on over into your own app script. And then the only thing that you need to paste into this is right here for the post URL in between these parentheses, or not parentheses, these quotations. You need to paste in the webhook address from make.com. So back in make.com, this webhook that we just created, we're copying the address to the clipboard, going back to our app script editor and pasting that in right there. Once that's all done, go up to deploy and then select new deployment. It'll take you to a window that looks like this. You'll need to go ahead and give it a name. Let's go ahead. I'm just going to copy this right here, this title of our scenario, and I'm going to paste it in right there. You'll need to go up here to this gear icon and then select web app. And then you'll need to give it a description. So this description, I just copied the title from my make.com scenario. I'm pasting that in right there, and then go ahead and hit deploy. It'll take you to a screen that looks like this. You don't need any of this information. Go ahead and hit done. And then over here on the left-hand side, go to triggers, and then down here in the bottom right-hand corner, add trigger. And this is what we're gonna do. We need to change this guy at the very bottom. So select event type to on form submit, and then hit save. And then you'll see your new trigger right here. Going back to our Google form, we're gonna want to test this out. So give it some sample data. You're gonna need to publish your Google form. I'm going to copy the responder link right there, and then open that up in a new tab. So I'm in the responder links tab right here so that I'm actually able to submit some sample data through. So let's go ahead and just fill all of this out with some sample data, and we're going to send that over to our make.com scenario where it can determine the data structure. Go ahead and hit submit. And then back here in make.com, you should see this guy. Once that data is sent over from Google Forms, it should say successfully determined. Cool. And just like that, it is successfully determined. Go ahead and hit save, and we'll come back to this. So we created the Google form and app script. We also tested it out with make.com, got that data successfully determined with the webhook. Let's hop over into ChatGPT, and we're going to create a JSON object for testing in Postman. So I'm in ChatGPT, and this is the prompt that I'm going to give it. First, I'm going to go over here to this spreadsheet. I'm going to copy row number 1 with all of the headers right here. So copy that and then go back to ChatGPT, and I'm going to give it this prompt. So I need a JSON object with sample data for each of these variables, and then I just pasted in that row 1 from this spreadsheet right here, this guy right here, which is all of the questions from Google Form. It's just the easiest way to connect that. And then I'm saying, can you make the variables simple, like full underscore name, email, age, sex, fitness underscore goals, and so on. And I'm going to hit send on that. And then it's going to give us all of this right here with some sample data, just like that. We need to copy this. So go ahead and copy that. And before I forget, if you guys are building this out from scratch and you don't have access to my spreadsheet template, back here in the Google form, you'll want to go to responses. And then you're going to want to connect this form and the responses to a Google Sheet. So you should see that option right here and select the Google Sheet that you want it to connect to, and then it'll automatically propagate all of those headers for you in that Google form like you see right here. And you may want to give your sheet a new name. But in ChatGPT, let's go ahead and copy this right here. And we're gonna head over to Postman. This platform allows us to send and test any API requests for free. So right here, once you log in, go ahead and go to new request, go to body, select raw, and paste in that JSON object right there. Hit delete so that it ends on this curly brace. Change this to post, go back to make.com, and we're gonna copy that webhook address one more time. Go back to Postman, paste that in right there. Go back to make.com. Let's hit run once, and we're going to send this request really quick. It's going to make.com, and it successfully sent all of that data to make.com. And I can already see this may be an issue. It's putting the fitness goals as an array. I'm not sure if we want that as an array. So taking a look at the data, I can see because we're only going to allow our lead to select one option, let's go ahead and change these guys right here. So let's go ahead and just delete everything up to there. We'll hit comma, equipment access. We're going to just delete that and do yes. We'll say yes, home equipment, injuries or conditions. Yes, that also sent as an array. We're just gonna have a long answer text, so we don't want that in an array. It's just gonna be the variable of injuries or conditions, and then the answer, the response. Going back to Postman, let's just delete these brackets like so. Cool. So no more arrays. Workout days per week. I'm gonna also change that to 2 to 3 just because that's gonna be one of our options that we give. Everything else is pretty much fine. Let's try sending that one more time. So back in make.com, we're gonna say run once, like that. Back in Postman, we'll say send. Back in make.com, it should receive that data soon. And it looks like we got a bad request. So let's make sure that we have everything in order right here. Oh, okay. I think on line 8, this is, we need to put this answer in some quotation marks. I believe that was the issue. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, let's hit send one more time. Okay, that was accepted. Go back to make.com and it should appear right here. And that's looking a lot better. So all of that data is just in one single collection. So full name, email, age, sex, all of the variables with their associated values. This is how it's going to look when we're sending all of the data that we get from our chatbot. So all of that data and responses that our chatbot is collecting along the way. It's going to make an HTTP post request to this webhook at the very end of the chatbot of the conversation to this make.com and say, here is all of the data, and then it's going to run off and do its thing. So just like right here. So we sent that sample data through Postman. Sweet. Now let's go ahead and start building out our voice flow chatbot. This is probably going to be this, and the make.com scenario build out is probably going to be the majority of this video from here on out. So this is voice flow. I'm going to go ahead and create a new agent right here in the top right hand corner. And I'm going to give it a name. So I'm just going to say 30-day fitness plan lead magnet. And basic template and select get started. And I'm going to skip importing any knowledge to this chatbot. We don't need that right now or for this build. Go ahead and hit skip in the top right hand corner and it'll take you to a page that looks like this. You'll go over to workflows and then get started on your question and answer workflow right here. Edit workflow. And it'll take you to this blank template right here. You can delete these things by right clicking and deleting. So right click, delete on all these elements because we're going to start from absolute scratch. Delete. And we're going to start in this very first node right here, this very first module. I don't know what VoiceFlow calls these, whether they're nodes or modules or whatever. I'm used to make.com calling them modules, so that's probably what I'm going to be referring to these as. So this is going to be our very first welcome message. So these are messages right here, and then we capture responses right here. We're going to right click and delete that. I'll show you how to capture responses into variables throughout this build, so don't worry about that. If we were to actually start from absolute scratch, let me go ahead and delete this so that it's just complete scratch. The first thing we're gonna want to do is grab this talk over here, this message module right there, and we're gonna insert that right there. We're gonna title this welcome, and the very first message is going to be, hey, with an emoji waving hello. And then we can add another message module inside of this first node right here. So we're also going to say, welcome to Apex Fit, and one more message. Would you be interested in a free workout plan? And we need to give our user some options, yes or no, and we can do that with buttons. So over here in the listen buttons, we're gonna click and drag and add that right there. So this is listening for a trigger. Click into that section right there, and then over here on the right-hand side, this is where we're gonna be configuring our buttons, our variables, all of that stuff for the remainder of this build. So we can add 2 buttons, and then we can give them a name. So yes, comma, please. And then clicking into the new button, we're gonna say no, comma, thanks. So they have these 2 options right here. If you test your agent down here in the very bottom, you can see how it's going to play out. So start new chat, and then it will go ahead. Oh, we probably have to, we have to connect this guy. So dragging from these little connectors, you just need to click and drag them to connect it to the next module. So let's go ahead and say start new chat. We might need to exit out and test one more time. There we go. So, hey, welcome to Apex Fit. Would you be interested in a free workout plan? Yes, please. And then the chat ended because we don't have any other steps in the workflow. By the way, I'm relatively new to VoiceFlow. Because I have all of my background building out automations in Airtable and Make.com, I was able to pick up this platform relatively easy. I'm not perfect at it. I'm not a master of VoiceFlow. In fact, this is probably my 3rd chatbot that I've built out. So I'm still learning how to build these out super efficient. So in no way, shape, or form is this workflow going to be absolutely perfect, but it gets the job done. If they choose no thanks, we're not going to be building out any branch for the no thanks, like, okay, how else can I help you today? All of that stuff, that's probably for another video. So we're just going to go ahead and end the chat. We're going to add a message module right here and just title it end. The message is going to be no problem. Have a nice day! Exclamation point. And then we're going to add an action and end the conversation. What we are going to be building out is the lead magnet. So gathering all of those questions and responses, just like we have in the Google form right here. All of these questions, we're going to gather, we're basically building this out right here. So we're going to be referencing this a lot as we build out our chatbot. So from this connector, from the yes, please button, we're going to drag that over here and insert a message node. We're going to give this a new name. We're going to start off by getting full name. First message is sweet. Let me get some details from you. Adding another message. And then right here in the right-hand side, this is where we type in our new message. It's pretty straightforward VoiceFlow. They make it really easy. What is your full name? Question mark. Now, this is where we're going to capture our first response, or I guess second response, since these buttons are the very first response. So to do that, we're going over here to the left-hand side, selecting listen, and then capture. We're going to drag that down here, and then we're going to add a new entity. So we're going to create an entity. Entities, you can see right here in the description, entities help your agent know which data to pluck out from the user's response. So I think this uses AI to, let's say you ask the question, the chatbot asks, what is your full name? And the user replies, instead of just saying their full name, Mason Anderson, just like that, they say, yeah, for sure, my full name is this. It's not going to grab that entire response and store that in the variable of full name, because that wouldn't make sense. It'll know exactly what to look for in the user's reply and grab the full name and stick that to the variable full name. So we're naming our entity right here. We're just going to say full underscore name. Data type, we're going to say name, and then create entity, just like that. And I'm going to change these block colors, these message block colors, to blue, just to stay a little more organized. So to do that, I'm just right-clicking block color and then selecting the color. Cool. So like I said, we're going to be referencing this. We just got our full name. Next, we want their email address. So let's just copy that question. What is your email address? Going back to VoiceFlow, what we can do is we can right-click on this module and then duplicate, and it will duplicate that node or module, and it just saves us a little bit of time. So we're going to change this name to get email address. I'm going to delete this message, and then I'm going to change this guy, paste that in. What is your email address? And then underneath the capture right there, so we're capturing an entity, we're going to delete the full name, and we're going to create a new entity, and we're going to name this email. Or how do we have it set up in our JSON schema right here? So full underscore name, email is just email. So we're wanting to make sure that we have these exactly as is, because when we're sending the variables, or I guess it doesn't really matter at this point, that's going to matter when we create our API call post request module at the very end. So never mind. But in all honesty, to stay organized, I like to use the exact same variable names throughout my entire build. It just keeps things neat and organized. So name is email, data type, we're going to say grab the email from their response, because if their response is not just mason@automatewhat.com, it could be, yeah, here's my email, mason@automatewhat.com. We don't want to grab that entire response as the email. It would break our system. Create entity. And from the full name response right here, once we capture that, we're going to drag that connection and connect it to the get email address module. Now that I'm thinking about it, we can make this message a little better. So, and what is your email address, so we can email your workout plan to you. That way we put them at ease as to why we're gathering their email address. So far we've got, hey, welcome to Apex Fit. Would you be interested in a free workout plan? Yes, please. Sweet. Let me get some details from you. What is your full name? They give their full name. And what is your email address, so that we can email your workout plan to you, get their email, and let's carry on from here. So again, I'm gonna right click on this guy, duplicate, drag this guy over here. This one's gonna be get sex, and the message is gonna be cool. I'm gonna ask you about 10 simple questions so that we can tailor the right plan for you. So just setting the expectations of the questionnaire from here on out. Going over to talk, adding a message. Are you male or female? And then we're going to give them 2 options with buttons. So deleting this guy right there, right click on this email guy. We're not going to capture that. We're going to go over here to listen, buttons, add a button right there. And then we're going to add 2 buttons. First one is going to be male. Next one's going to be female. Boom, we have 2 options. And we're connecting the previous node or the previous module. Now, when they select this button, it doesn't automatically set that value to a variable. So for that, we need to do a little bit of logic here. So we're going to add this logic right here and set variable node or module. We're going to name this set variable for sex. And I like to highlight these guys as orange if I'm specifically setting variables. And then underneath the set variable, we're going over here and we're selecting plus, and we're doing value or expression. We're selecting the variable to set, and it's not available yet. We haven't created it. These are just some, I think, standard variables that come with a blank template. So you can ignore these. And let's go ahead and create a variable. This variable name is going to be sex, because I'm trying to keep my naming conventions of my variables consistent throughout the whole build. And then I'm selecting create variable. And the value of the variable to set is going to be male. Set the variable sex to male, because if they click the male button, we're going to travel down this route and set that variable to male. And you can probably guess what we need to do next is we need to duplicate this guy, drag him down here, click into set sex to male, and we're gonna change the value to female, like so. And then drag from the female option to this module right here. So if they select the button male, it goes up here, sets that variable. If they select female, goes to this route and sets the exact same variable, but it changes the value to female. Back in our Google form, I guess we could probably change these guys if we want to be consistent. So what is your sex, and then what is your age? This is what we want to get next. So let's right click this and duplicate, drag it on over here. And we need to connect both of these previous nodes or modules to this guy. We're going to change this one to age. We're going to change this message to what is your age? Or we could say, how old are you? If you want to get super specific or insert in parentheses, for example, if you're 28 years old or 30 years old, insert or answer 30 or 30 years old. I don't think it's going to matter all that much for our use case. We're just going to capture the response as is entirely. So if they respond 30, great. If they respond 30 years old, also great. And we're going to delete that guy. We're going to delete the buttons, and we're going to go over here to the listen and capture. And I think we're going to do an entity this time. So entity, create entity. So create entity. This one's going to be age. Data type, I think they have, yeah, age right there. Create entity. It's going to capture the age from their response. Awesome. We're making some progress here. Next is, what are your main fitness goals? So we can copy that question right here. Go back to voice flow, and let's copy this guy back here because it already has buttons. That's what we're going to be using for this guy up here. Move that on over, change the name, get fitness goals. We're going to connect this guy, delete, and we're going to change this. Paste in our question. So what are your main fitness goals? And we want to give them options. What are the options? In Google Form, you can see we're going to give them these options: lose weight, build muscle, improve endurance, tone up, general fitness, or other. So let's start copying these guys on over to the button options. So clicking in the button window, let's delete these guys and just add a bunch of buttons. So this button is going to be lose weight. The next button is going to be build muscle. Copy, paste. Next one is going to be improve endurance. Back in voice flow, pasting that in. And we just go through the list like this. Tone up, paste. General fitness, paste. And this one is going to be other. And I'll show you what we're going to do for this one in just a sec. But first, let's take care of all the other options. Again, just like we did over here, if they are selecting a certain button, we want them to travel down their own specific routes, and we're going to set that variable to that specific value of the button that they selected. So we can copy this first guy right here, the set variable for sex. Let's duplicate this guy, drag him on over here. Let's change the name. Set variable for fitness goals. And then we're going to select into this set sex to male. We're going to select the variable to set, and we are going to create a new variable. And this new variable name, if we go over to Postman, I'm just keeping it consistent, fitness underscore goals. I'm going to copy that, go back to voice flow, paste that in for the name, create variable, and then I'm going to change the value from male, obviously, because that doesn't make sense anymore, to the first one, which is going to be lose weight. Boom, just like that. And connect that guy. Lose weight, set the variable for fitness goals to lose weight. Now, if we click on this module right here, this whole node, and hit Command D, we should get a complete duplicate. So if we do that again, Command D, 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 we can do that really quickly and then just drag them down here so we can be a little more organized. You can also hit Shift and drag over ones that you want to select and move, just like that. And that can be also easier. Awesome. Okay, the next one we need to do is build muscle. I'm going to copy that guy. We're going to set the fitness goal to build muscle, and then connect that guy. Improve endurance. I'm going to copy that and paste that in right there. Tone up. Tone up. And this guy is what? General fitness. Awesome. And then we just need to connect them to their proper sections, just like that. Improve endurance, going to improve endurance. Tone up, going to tone up. General fitness, setting the fitness goals to general fitness. Now, that's awesome. What we can do, let's shift and highlight all of these. I'm going to move them up just a smidge. Now we need one for other. What do we want to do for this? We want to hit them with a follow-up question. So I'm going to copy this module right here. So duplicate, drag them on down here, drag that guy down here, get fitness goals other. And then the message is going to be, please describe your fitness goals. And I'm going to delete the buttons, add a listen capture card right there. Oh, I think these are cards. Is that what they're called? I thought I saw that somewhere. Anyway, so we're capturing that response. And instead of entities this time, it's going to be entire user reply to. You can save it to last utterance for some use cases, but in our use case, we want to actually set a variable, which is fitness goals. We want to save whatever they enter in their response. We want to save that whole response into the variable fitness goals. So we're going to create a new variable, or no, we already created the variable. We just need to change it. So fitness goals right there. Save entire reply to fitness goals, just like that. And connect this. If they select other, it's going to take them down to this message and say, cool, please describe your business goals. And then they type away. Awesome. Let's move on to the next question. So how would you describe your current fitness level? Let's copy that. Let's right click and duplicate this fitness goals module. We're going to say get fitness level, change the message to how would you describe your current fitness level? And then we need to hit them up with, 3 options, beginner, intermediate, and advanced. We'll copy those on over to these buttons. So we can delete, change these guys to beginner, this guy to intermediate. I like to copy just because sometimes I can easily misspell things. And advanced. Beginner, intermediate, advanced. And just like we did over here where we're setting variables for each one of those buttons, we're going to be doing the exact same thing, this time for the fitness level variable. So let's connect all of these previous nodes to this guy. Let's copy this or duplicate, bring it on over here, set variable for fitness level. Clicking into the variables to set, we're going to create a variable. And I believe it should be, okay, we're going to be using current underscore fitness underscore level. We're going to copy that, go back to voice flow, paste that in right there, create variable. And this one's going to be for beginner. Boom. Set current fitness level to beginner if they select the beginner button. Connect. Awesome. Now we just need to Command D twice and Shift, highlight, drag them on down like so, and change these responses. So set the same variable, but this time we're setting it to intermediate and this guy to advanced and connecting them. And I can see as I'm making copies or duplicates of these, it's adding copy. It just keeps adding a copy on top of the previous name. So I'm just going to go back and clean this up a bit. Get rid of all those copies. Other level, fitness level, copy level. I wonder if any of these did the same thing. Get age, fitness goals, sex. No, none of them. Huh, I wonder why these guys did it, but not any of the others. Anyway, let's move forward. Next one we're going to do is let's duplicate that guy. Bring him on over here. This one's going to be get workout frequency. And the question we can copy from Google Forms is how many days per week can you commit to working out? Paste that in right there and give them some options. So 2 to 3 days, 3 to 4 days, 2 to 3 days, 4 to 5 days, 6 to 7 days. Connect all of these nodes to this guy. And let's set some variables again. So right click, duplicate, set variables for workout frequency. Clicking into this guy, we need to change or create a variable, and let's make sure we're staying consistent. So workout underscore days underscore per week. These variable names could be a lot more simple if we really wanted to. So we could do workout underscore frequency if we wanted to, but we've already determined the data structure with make.com. I'm just going to keep it as is. And sometimes it can help to be a little more descriptive. The value for this one is going to be 2 to 3 days. Connect that guy. Right click, duplicate, right click, duplicate. This guy is going to be, 4 4 to 5 days. And this guy is going to be 6 to 7 days. 4 to 5 days, 6 to 7 days. Next, let's duplicate this guy for our next message. We're going to get the location, get workout location. Where do you prefer to work out? We're going to copy that question, add that in right there. Gym, home, outdoors, and connect the previous. And let's set some more variables. This is how it's going to be for honestly the remainder of the build up until we're sending all of the data to make.com. So if you want, feel free to stick around and watch me build out the remainder. I'll keep doing so as is. But if you kind of understand how to build out the rest of this Google form for the remainder, I think there's 5 or 6 more questions, then you can go ahead and skip further on in the video. Let's right click and duplicate this guy for the set variable, location, change this guy. We're going to add a new variable. Or no, we already created the variable, I believe. Oh, no, we didn't. So workout location, it should be workout preference. Okay. We should probably feel like that should be changed to workout location, but we'll leave it as is for now. So name, workout preference, create variable, and we'll change the value of this first one to gym. Duplicate, drag them on down, and change this guy to, what is it, home, and this guy is outdoors. Cool. And connect everything. Awesome. Let's move on to the next message. What are we getting from here? So where do you want to work out? Awesome. Next one is, do you have access to any equipment? That's what we're going to ask. And at this point, something that we're probably going to want to do, since we're halfway through the questionnaire, just to put our user at ease, because 10 questions can kind of be a lot. Let's go ahead and add this message. We're going to hit them with, sweet, just 5 more questions, and then hit them with the next question immediately after, just to keep it moving along. Do you have access to any equipment? And then we're going to change that to these responses. So delete those buttons, and we're going to add the options right here. So yes, gym equipment. I believe yes, home equipment. And this one, no equipment. Like that. Connect these guys and set more variables. A lot of setting variables right here. Like I mentioned, there might be a more efficient way to gather all of this data and set variables. I'm still relatively new to VoiceFlow, so I'm just building it out the way that I know how to build things. If you guys know of a more efficient way to build out these chatbots by setting variables with different button options, go ahead and let me know in the community, hit me up in the DMs or in the comments. I'm always happy to learn from you guys. Oh, we're going to change this guy to get equipment. And then change this set variable for equipment. And then we need to create a variable. This is going to be equipment access, create variable, and the first response, again, I'm just going to copy it from Google Forms, is yes, gym equipment, connect that guy, and duplicate, yes, home equipment, and this one is going to be, no equipment, and connect them. Duplicate this guy. This one is going to get, again, these are just labels to let us know what these modules are doing. So we're getting, what is it? What's next? I think it's health conditions. Yeah. So do you have any injuries or health conditions that need to be considered? So we can say get injuries or health conditions. We'll delete this message. I think you just backspace. Oh, so yeah, you can just backspace on elements. So this isn't going to be a button. Oops. Command Z. Let's bring that back. That's actually super convenient. I didn't know you could Command Z. We're going to add a message. Again, we're going to copy this question and paste it in right there. Do you have any injuries or health conditions that need to be considered? And this is going to be, we're going to delete the button response and we're going to listen for we're gonna just capture their reply, not as entity. We're gonna capture the entire user reply to a new variable, and we're gonna name this variable injuries or conditions. Back in voice flow, that's where we're gonna insert injuries _or conditions, create variable. So save their entire reply to injuries or conditions, and then click and drag to connect. This is where we're looking so far. Honestly, we're about 60-70% there with this chatbot. Just a few more questions we need to get to, and then I'll show you how to set up and send that data to the make.com webhook. And it's really, really easy. Let's right click on this get equipment message module. This one's going to be get activity level, and we're going to change this message to what is your current activity level during the day, and changing these buttons. Our options are sedentary. I think lightly active is next, active, and then very active. Active, add a button, and very active. Cool, we have our buttons all configured or set up. Now we need to set those variables. So right click, duplicate on this previous set variable module for the equipment, set variable for activity level. And we need to create a new variable. Let's go to Postman, current activity _level. That's what we're gonna use for the name, create variable, and we're gonna change the value to the first option, which is sedentary, and connect that guy. Next one, we're gonna duplicate, and duplicate one more time. So I think there's 4 buttons. Sedentary, this guy's gonna be lightly active. And this one's gonna be very active. Go ahead and connect all of those buttons to their respective modules for setting the variables, and let's move on. I think we should just have 2 more questions. Yeah, so how would you like your workouts, and anything else you want your coach to know? So how would you like your workouts? Let's go ahead and copy that. Duplicate this guy. We're gonna say get workout intensity, and swap out the question to how would you like your workouts, and then change the buttons. I think there's 3 options: short and intense, moderate and balanced, longer with more variety. Cool, so I set those buttons. Let's go ahead and connect all of these previous modules to this guy and set some more variables. I think this is the last time we're gonna be setting variables like this. It's kind of repetitive, not gonna lie. You can kind of get burnt out with 10 questions. That's kind of a lot. I wonder for most lead magnets, you're just gonna be gathering what is your name, email, phone number, maybe not even phone number, and then maybe another question. It's gonna be maybe 2 to 4 questions for most lead magnets. So this one's kind of a more lengthy one. Set the variable for workout, for workout intensity, and we need to create a new variable for this. Workout style preference is the variable that we're going to be using. That's going to be the key. Workout _style _preference for the key, and the value, we just need to map in their values. So for this, I'm just going to go back and copy these one more time. Short and intense. Perfect. Duplicate and duplicate. This guy is moderate and balanced, and this guy is longer with more variety, and connect these guys up. Right click, duplicate for one of our last messages, for the questionnaire at least, and this one is going to be get additional info. And the last question, anything else you want your coach to know, or you could say anything else you want me to know. You also have these styling options if you want your questions to be bold or certain words to be bold, right? To emphasize certain words in your chatbot messages, you can do so right here. Bold, italic, underline, strike through. I think you can also insert links. That's super nice. And you can also delay the message. I think it's up to 500 seconds. Connect all the previous nodes. And we're going to delete this button. What we're going to do is we're going to listen for their reply. And instead of entities, we're going to capture their entire user reply to create new variable, our last variable, which is additional underscore info. That's going to be the key. Create variable. Awesome. Okay, so this is what we have so far. It's kind of a really long workflow that we've got going. Let's go ahead and test our agent right here. It's going to pull up and we're just going to walk through and see how it goes. So, hey, welcome to Apex Fit, blah, blah, blah. We're going to say yes, please, for the free workout plan. Sweet. Let me get some details from you. What is your full name? My full name is Mason Anderson. Hit enter. What is your email address? If we say potato, then it's going to know that's not an email address. Oops, it looks like the email address isn't quite right. Could you please provide me with a valid email address? So we'll say yes, or mason@automatewhat.com. It's going to grab that and set that response, or grab the email address and set that to the email variable. Cool. I'm going to ask you about 10 simple questions so that we can tailor the right plan for you. Are you male or female? We'll say male. How old are you? I'm 28. What are your main fitness goals? I'm going to say improve endurance. How would you describe your current fitness level? I'm going to say intermediate. How many days per week can you commit to working out? I'm going to say 2 to 3. What do you prefer? Where do you prefer to work out? I like outdoors. Sweet, just 5 more questions. Do you have access to any equipment? No equipment. Do you have any injuries or health conditions that need to be considered? And then it just goes on. Now what we want to do is we have all of those data, all of that data stored in variables. We want to send that to make.com and build out our workflow that looks like this to actually create the 30-day workout plan and email them over that PDF. So back here in Make, in our blank scenario, we're going to copy this address one more time, the webhook address, go back to VoiceFlow, and this is what we're going to add right here. So underneath dev API, we're going to drag that on over right here, and we're going to say send responses to make.com. I like to highlight these modules as green, and we're going to change this from get to post. We're going to paste in our webhook URL right there. And then the body is going to be form data. So we're going to add all of these keys. This is where it's actually important that we're staying consistent with these keys that we set up in Postman and then sent to make.com to already determine the data structure. Let's just keep them consistent. So full name, we're going to copy that. Back here in VoiceFlow, we're entering that as the key. So full underscore name. The value, open curly brace, and then we're going to find the full name variable, just like that. Full name, add another key. So you can add all of these keys right now. That makes it just a little bit easier. The next key we want to add is email. So copy that on over, email, and then open curly brace, email, find that variable that we set. So we just want to go down the list of all of these right here. If you want to pause and do this on your own, feel free to do so. Or if you want to skip ahead, you can also do that as well. So we're copying age, open parentheses, finding our age variable that we set, and adding that as the value. New key is sex, copy, sex, setting the value, moving on. Fitness goals, open curly brace, fitness goals, right there. Next. Cool. So we've added all of that form data in right here. So their keys along with their associated value. We're going to toggle this on failure path. So there's a success path and a failure path. Let's connect the previous module right here. And we want to add some messages for them, for the user. First message is thanks for sharing. We're building your custom workout plan now. This may take a few minutes. Again, just setting that expectation. Let's add another message. Expect to see it in your email inbox soon. And then we're going to have a closing message. Good luck with your workouts. Have a nice day. Because when we send this data to make.com, it usually takes around 30 seconds to a minute to complete this. So there's no need for our user to hang around and just wait in the chat. They can get on with their day and expect to see it in their inbox soon. I'm going to add a successful message though. Let's say our user does hang around in the chat. I'm going to drag, if the post request is successful, then I'm going to travel up this route and I'm going to message this user. So this, I'm labeling it successful plan creation. I'm going to change the color to blue, and the message is going to say, I just sent it over, with one more message concluding the chat. Thanks again. Bye, with a waving emoji. And then the action is going to be end, to end the chat. If for whatever reason the make.com scenario runs into an error, that's why we have these error handlers right here on the OpenAI Assistant modules, just in case their API is down or it runs into some issues, then we're sending back a webhook response of an error code. I think we're setting it to 503, or you could just do 400. And then it's sending that response back to, what do we call it? To VoiceFlow to travel down this route. And this is what we're going to do for that. We're going to do a message. We're going to say error in make.com. I'm going to change this guy to red. And the message, we just want to inform our user, again, if they're still in the chat, oops, looks like our system is down currently. And one more message. Maybe come back later and try again. So sorry. And maybe one more message. Have a nice day. Bye. And then we are adding an action to end the chat right here. Again, if we had this chatbot as multifunctional, so it also answered questions or booked people into calls in your scheduler, then we could add on top of these routes, success. Instead of ending the chat right here, we could drag this guy back to another branch, which takes care of answering questions, or back to the very beginning where it goes, how else can I help you today? Or would you like to book a call with so-and-so? Or, the list goes on. There's so many branches you can build out. But the three main uses for chatbots, at least in my opinion, are lead magnets, booking calendars, booking calls, so a scheduler, and answering frequently asked questions. But on this video, we are only focused on this lead magnet branch. And that's why we are just concluding the chat at the very end. Cool, so that's how everything looks in VoiceFlow. If we zoom out, it's kind of a long one. Let's go ahead and take it for a spin just to make sure that everything's configured properly. Let's say run once and then go back to VoiceFlow, and we're going to test out our agent one more time. So yes, please. Full name, we'll say Mason, enter, and it should get back to me with, sorry, that's not your full name. Thanks, Mason. Could you please tell me your last name as well? And we'll say Anderson. Cool, and then it's storing Mason Anderson as the full name. And what is your email address so we can email your workout plan for you? mason@automatewhat.com. Cool. And then it gets right into the questionnaire. So I'm just going to do this really quick. Hit send. Thanks for sharing. We're building your custom workout plan right now. Expect to see it in your email inbox soon. Good luck with your workouts. Have a nice day. I just sent it over. Thanks again. Bye. Because if we go back to make.com, it received the response and it was just immediate and went to the concluding messages of I just sent it. Have a nice day, because it got back with a response of success. And this is how all of our data looks like. We're going to be passing all of this information to our OpenAI assistant to build out our workout plan. So if we go back to our roadmap, we built out our VoiceFlow chatbot. Now we need to build out our OpenAI assistant with the JSON schema that it needs to follow. Going to the OpenAI API, again, if you need help signing up or connecting any of these modules that we're going to be using in make.com for the remainder of the video, I have resource files down below if you're in the community, and you can check out those videos there. So you'll go to dashboard. Again, this is the OpenAI API. Go to assistants, and then you're going to want to create a new assistant. So I already created this guy right here. Let's go ahead and I'm going to create a new one with you guys on this call. So I'm going to hit create, and let's give it a name. I'm going to name this one demo, and our system instructions. These are our system instructions. Create a personalized 30-day fitness plan for a client based on the following details: age, sex, fitness goals, current fitness level, just all of that information that we gathered from the questionnaire. Important instructions: output must be a valid JSON format. Strictly follow the provided JSON schema below, ensuring all required fields are included. No additional text or explanations outside the JSON. Ensure workouts align with the provided details, fitness level, and available equipment. Workouts should be clear, goal-specific, and easy to follow. Provide concise instructions, including sets, reps, and any necessary equipment for each workout day. Include appropriate rest days as needed based on fitness level and workout frequency. Keep motivational tips brief and inspiring. All placeholders must be replaced with relevant fitness details. And then I'm providing it. You don't have to do this necessarily, but last night as I was testing this out, I found that I got better results by pasting in the JSON schema right here down below. This is the JSON schema that I want it to follow. So I'll have this available for you guys in a document, whether you're in the community or on YouTube, down in the description below. So you guys can just copy this on over. So we've got the name of the schema, which is 30-day workout plan. And then the schema type is object, properties, plan overview. And then week 1, Sunday, week 1, Monday, week 1, Tuesday. And then it just goes on all the way through the 4 weeks: warm up, cool down, motivational tips, special notes, and then the required list. So if we highlight all of this, copy that, hit save, we've got our system instructions. We're going to use GPT-4o. You can try different models if you wish. I think some models you don't have access to the response format as JSON schema, which is down here. So response format, JSON schema. And this window is going to pull up when you select that. We're going to hit this generate right here. I think this is beta. So we can paste in our system instructions right here. So let me just delete that guy and hit create. It's going to take that into account. Using this guy right here, I already created a schema that works. So for that purpose, I'm just going to copy this on over from the one that I was testing out last night. It takes trial and error sometimes. So I'm going to copy this JSON schema from my previous assistant, like so. So I'm going to copy that guy, go back to my assistant demo that I'm building out with you guys, and I'm going to paste that in right there. So this is what that schema looks like. So 30-day workout plan, strict, true, schema, type object, and then it's got all the properties. So plan overview, week 1 Sunday, week 1 Monday, week 1 Tuesday, and it just goes on. Because again, we're filling in all of these dynamic variables right here in the template. So plan overview, week 1 Sunday, week 1 Monday, week 1 Tuesday, all the way through warm up, cool down, motivational tips, and special notes. You can see that right here. We have our required, we have motivational tips, special notes with a description. Special notes is 3 to 4 sentences with special instructions or notes. Motivational tips, brief motivational tips, right, for the description, so on and so forth. I'll have this available for you guys as well down in the description and the resource files. So you can just copy and paste this on over. So hit save. And this JSON schema, I'm just pasting it in right here as well inside of the assistant instructions right here, system instructions. And I feel like I get better results when I also paste in the schema right here and include that in the prompt instructions. So you can mess around with it. It just takes time, a lot of trial and error till you get something that works. And to do that, hit save. So we've got everything all configured properly. I don't think we need to toggle on code interpreter, file search, any of that. What you can do to test it out till you get consistent outputs is head on over to the playground. So back in the assistants, so dashboard, assistants, you can select playground right here and you can give it some data. So in our OpenAI instructions, we can just copy this right here. Go back to ChatGPT. So this is not the API anymore. And I can just say, give me some sample data for this. I should probably say please. So sample data, I'm just gonna say in plain text, please. Cool. We're gonna copy that, go back to our playground for the assistant, paste that in right there, hit run. It's gonna do its thing, and then we should see an output response following that specific JSON schema, which is perfect. So plan overview, week 1, Sunday, week 2, Monday, and it just goes on, and it'll finish with the motivational tips, cool down, warm up, all of that stuff. So warm up, cool down, motivational tips, and special notes. Awesome. And this took a total of 3,000 tokens. So 2,100 tokens in and 755 out using the GPT-4o model. I imagine all in all that might have been less than a penny, if I remember right, or maybe about a penny. I can't remember their pricing structure for GPT-4o. But if you want to figure that out, OpenAI has a pricing website or a page on their website that you can check that out. And just make sure to select the box as per 1,000 tokens, per 1K tokens, and you can figure that out. All right, back in our roadmap. So we built out our OpenAI assistant with the JSON schema. Now we need to build out the make.com scenario. In make.com, from this webhook module, we're going to add a router right at the very beginning, like so. One route is going to be responses from the AI chatbot, and one route is going to be responses from the Google form submission. For the AI chatbot, we want to add a Google Sheets, add a row module, search method, select from all, ID finder, I'm going to say Apex. So you can just type in from the spreadsheet just any keyword in the title. So again, that's why I'm saying Apex. Hit OK, and it'll go find if there's multiple Google Sheets in your drive, it'll give you a list to choose from. Because there's only one Google Sheet with Apex in the title, it went ahead and fetched the spreadsheet ID for me. That's just a quick trick for you guys. Sheet name is fitness plan leads. The table does contain headers, and this is where we can map in all of these variables. So timestamp, we'll just say timestamp. What is your full name? And this is where we're going to map in these variables from AI. So you can see we have our Google form questions right here, all of these variables, and it ends right here. Anything else you want your coach to know? We're not going to be using these for this route. What we're going to be using for this route, which is the exact same data, is just going to be starting right here. Full name, email, age. What is your full name? What is your email? What is your age? It's the exact same data, but this is coming from the AI voice flow. So full name right there, email address right there, age, and we're just going down the list and mapping in these variables. Main fitness goals, fitness level, boom, like so, just like that. Hit save. You might need to go in and hit save one more time. I'll just say add lead to CRM to rename this module. And this route is going to be for our Google form route. So we don't need to add anyone to the CRM because upon form submission with the Google form, it's automatically creating a record for them. It does that in the background. You just have to make sure that you toggle that on with responses, and save the responses to that. You have to link it to that spreadsheet. So the very first module we're going to use on this route is the message and assistant module. Make your connection. If you need help with that, I have an additional video for you guys down below. We're going to select our assistant, so the one that we just created, and the message. This is what we're going to insert for the message. So we have age, sex, fitness goals, and again, we're just mapping in these variables, not from down here because that is from voice flow. The question variables, these guys right here that look like this with longer questions, these are specifically from Google Forms. So we're just mapping in those variables right here all the way down the list. Go down to the very bottom where it says show advanced settings, toggle that on, and then you're going to scroll down to the very bottom of this window. Again, we're still in the OpenAI Message and Assistant module. You want to select the response format as JSON object and parse JSON response right there, and then hit save. Let's go ahead and rename this guy to create 30-day fitness plan. We're going to right click, clone, drag this guy up here, and we need to remap the variables in our message to the assistant because it's traveling up this route, we still need to set up filters. We'll do that in just a sec. This is from voice flow, so we're not using these variable points anymore. So we're just deleting all of those. And we're adding age, sex, fitness goals, and so on and so forth. To give, right, we're passing all of that data, all of the responses to our assistant so that it has reference and context to tailor a 30-day workout plan for them. Once that's all done, go ahead and hit save. realign everything, and we're good so far. Now we need to set up filters right here. I can already tell that we need to add something to our VoiceFlow agent. So hopping back into VoiceFlow in this guy right here, making the API call, we're selecting this, and in our form data inside of the body, we need to add one key. And the key we're going to add is VoiceFlow underscore bot, VoiceFlow underscore bot, and the value we're just gonna say true. Just like that. And what we can do is we can test out, so we can send right there. So instead of going to the chatbot and talking with it, we can just hit that send and then just enter in all of our keys that are necessary to send some sample data through. So Mason Anderson, email mason@automatewhat.com, age 28, sex, and I didn't answer these correctly, right? So equipment access, equipment, injuries. I just did that really quick to send some data. Let's back in make.com. Let's make sure we run this once, or let's stop. Let's disable. Let's unlink this guy, and let's just run the response through. So run once so that it's listening. Back in VoiceFlow, we'll send the data through, and in make.com, now we have the VoiceFlow bot variable as true. We're going to need that to set up these filters right here. So for this branch, because this is the voice bot, we're going to say, or the VoiceFlow bot, we're going to say VoiceFlow chat bot question mark, or VoiceFlow chat bot. Condition, if the VoiceFlow bot variable exists, cool, then travel up this route. This one is Google Forms. Condition, again, if VoiceFlow bot does not exist, that means it was from a Google Form submission. Travel down this route. Hit save. Now let's go ahead and test this out. Hit save, run once. Back in VoiceFlow, I can already tell that was probably a mistake to send some sample data like that, because what I'm going to want to do is use real data. What you can do is you can select reuse last values. But if I do that, since we're actually trying to test out our assistant, I need some actual data through. So Mason Anderson, boom, 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 fitness goals. This is where we're going to start. Fitness goals. I'm just going to copy these. In all honesty, it's probably best if we just practice the actual agent. So test the agent. It's probably quicker this way. So we'll just go through the process right here. Yes, please. Full name, Mason Anderson. Next one is going to be email. And then I just go through the questionnaire. So male, how old? 28. We'll say build muscle this time. We'll say intermediate, 4 to 5 days. Gym, yes, gym equipment. No injuries. Lightly active. Moderate and balanced. And nothing else I want my coach to know. Cool. Thanks for sharing. We're building your custom workout plan now. Expect to see it in your email inbox soon. Good luck with your workouts. Have a nice day. I just sent it over. Now it moved on to this guy right here immediately because we don't have a, what's it called? A webhook response module yet. Once we have that in place, I'll show you what that looks like in our final testing of the VoiceFlow agent, and it'll make more sense and it'll look better. So let's take a look at the output. We can see that our result, boom, it followed the provided schema. So plan overview, week 1, and then it gave us our entire workout plan. Awesome. Now what we need to do is let's go ahead and test out our Google form. So again, we're going to say run once, and it traveled up this route because it was from our VoiceFlow bot. Let's say run one more time, and let's do a Google form submission this time. Make sure that it's working. Mason Anderson, mason@automatewhat.com, age 28, not 287. That would be miserable. What is your sex? Male, build muscle, beginner, 6 to 7 days, gym, yes, no, active, moderate and balanced, no, submit. Back in make.com, it's going to take a sec, right? Because we have that app script, it's sending immediately all of the data to this webhook. It's probably going to take a sec. There we go. It just triggered and it traveled up this route because that variable, the voice flow bot, does not exist. So it's going down this route for Google Form. And it should be generating that fitness plan for us now. Looking at the result, we can see that it followed the provided schema just like so. Awesome. That's working out really nice so far. What we want to do is we want to map in all of those new values right here, all of these new variables for plan overview, week 1 Sunday. We want to map all of those into their dynamic fields in our Google form right here. And then we're going to download that as a PDF, attach the file as an email and send it off, and then conclude with a webhook response module. So Google form, we're going to add that in make.com, or not form, Google Doc. We're going to create a document from a template, and then we are going to select by dropdown. This is just easiest right here. So select by dropdown, and then we're going to choose the file path and select all of the folders till we get to the actual template, which is nested in a bunch of folders. I do it this way because if we do it by mapping, what we have to do is we have to add the values right here all manually. So tags, we have to add client_name. We have to add that guy manually, and then the replaced value with what is your client's full name. We have to, or I guess for the voice flow, we'd be mapping in the different variables. An easier way is to do drop down, and I'll just show you once I get to my document. So you want to find, mine is underneath products. Okay, so I found the document. Now it's going to automatically generate all of those dynamic fields. So if you have something in double curly braces, so client name, fitness goal, fitness level, those will automatically generate for you right here as all of these fields. And then it's just a matter of mapping in all of our variables that we have gathered so far. And because, let's refresh this guy, hit save. We'll do ASDF, hit save. Oh, let's give it a new title. So we're not seeing our variables from the voice flow chatbot. That's going to be an issue. I wonder if we just need to reset this. So title, we'll say 30-day fitness plan. 30-day workout plan. And the new location, I'm going to use the ID of the folder that I want this stored at or stored in. So I've created this folder right here. This is just a bunch of test data right here. So if you go up to the URL of the folder, so I'm in Google Drive, and if you go up to the URL, you can copy the ID, which is in the URL. It's nested there, and it's just a really long string of numbers and characters, and it'll look something like that. Let's hit save the entire scenario, and let me refresh this and see if those variables from VoiceFlow now appear from the webhook. So back in Google Docs, so that's going to be an issue. A workaround that we can do, we can hard code these in. This is module number 1 from the webhooks. So what we're going to do is open 2 curly braces, 1 dot, and then we're going to use our variable names or our keys. So full name, 2 curly braces. So we can hard code them in right there. That way, when those variables are available, they'll match exactly, and it'll know what to do with the data. It'll be able to reference these variables, these data points. So if I hit save, let's try this. What we can do, let me duplicate this. So clone this module down here. Let me rename this guy to create 30-day workout plan PDF. Rename, I'm gonna copy that guy as well. Rename, paste that in. Cool. So because we do have the variables from the Google form, we're just gonna do that first. So what is your full name? Client name right there. Fitness goals. What are your main fitness goals right there? Fitness level, current fitness level. Workout frequency, how many days per week? Workout location, boom, equipment, health, activity level, workout preferences, additional information, plan overview. Now from here on out, we're going to be grabbing these variables from our OpenAI Assistant module. So plan overview, week 1 Sunday, week 1 Sunday. Or let's see, week 1 Friday, week 1. Oh, they're a bit scrambled. I don't know why they're scrambled. That's kind of weird. Week 1 Sunday, week 1 Monday, week 1 Monday, week 1 Tuesday, week 1 Tuesday. We got to find that. Man, it's kind of hurting my eyes. Week 1 Tuesday, week 1 Wednesday, week 1 Wednesday. Nope, that's the wrong one. This is just going to take some time. So you can, I guess to make it a little quick, you can type it up in the search bar. So week 2 Wednesday, map that in right there. And we might as well just map in all of the Wednesdays. So week 3 Wednesday, week 3 Wednesday, week 4 Wednesday, week 4 Wednesday. And let's move on to Thursday. Week 2 Thursday, boom. Sorry, that was kind of a little scrambled there. Now for warm up, those guys should be in order. We can scroll down to the very bottom or maybe to the very top. Warm up, map that in. Cool down, motivational tips. That should be plan overview, special motivational tips, and notes, special notes. All right. Title, we're going to title this, we're going to use their full name. So we're going to grab that from our form submission. So full name dash 30-day workout plan. This is going to be the title of the PDF. We want to make it personable. Hit save. Awesome. Realign everything. Hit save. Let's run this once and let's go back to our voice flow agent and let's start a new chat to push the data through. So let's make sure that we're first off listening in make.com, then go back to make.com and let's push some new data through again. Cool, thanks for sharing, blah, blah, blah. Back in make.com, it traveled up this route because it's from VoiceFlow. It's creating the fitness plan and it's probably gonna run into an error right here, or maybe it won't because we have it configured, not all the way, but we do have it configured enough. Yeah. So we're just going to give it a sec and let it finish and do its thing. We wanted to do that so that now we have the variables to map out, just like we did down here in this one. We want to map out all of the variables from this guy. So do you see how we had that hard coded in and the color was completely filled in? It's because the variables now appear down here. So kind of a fluke, I think, but now we have these guys: full name, fitness goal, and we're just going to do the exact same thing: fitness level, frequency, location, equipment, health conditions, activity level, preferences, additional info, plan overview. This is where we're grabbing from our JSON schema. Week 1, Sunday. See, and this is in order: week 1s, week 2s, week 3s, and week 4s. So I guess for whatever reason, the output from this assistant that one time just changed it up a bit. It still had all of the variables that we needed. They were just scrambled a bit. Week 1, Sunday, Sunday, Monday, Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday, motivational tips, special notes. Sweet. And again, we want to use their full name dash 30-day workout plan. Hit save. Save the entire scenario. Awesome. Now we need to download the PDF. So Google Docs, download a document. We're going to map in the document ID from this guy right here, mapping that in right there. The type is going to be PDF. Hit save. We're going to rename that to download PDF. We're not going to worry about finishing off this branch down here right now, because what we can do is we can just build out the rest of this branch and then copy all of that down here, and it should be the exact same, or mostly. So we have the downloaded PDF. Now we need to actually send them an email. So I'm going to send them an email using Gmail. Send an email. Make sure you have your connection. Send it to the email address. We have that from the email. Make sure it's from the proper, this is VoiceFlow Chatbot branch. So we need to use these variables down here, not these ones. So email right there. Subject, your 30-day personalized fitness plan or workout plan. Content. This is how I'm doing the content body of the email. Hey, 2 line break tags. As promised, here is that 30-day fitness plan. tailored just for you, 2 line breaks. I want to know how it goes, so feel free to reach out if you have any questions. 2 line breaks, thanks, full name, and then line break, Mason. And then the attachment, we're going to say add attachment, and it's going to automatically just pull that downloaded document, that PDF, and attach it to the email. Hit save. Let's go back in one more time and do this. From time to time, it doesn't save. So we will rename this guy send workout plan. And then the last one is a webhook response. And this is going to be a successful response. So we're just going to leave that as 200, hit save, and we're good for that branch at least. For the most part, we still need to add an error handler right here, which might as well let's do that later. Let's hit shift, drag over these modules, copy, so Command C, click into empty space, Command V, and let's connect these guys. So perfect, we just need to reconfigure some of these and change the variables. So the full name right here. Oh, I guess we didn't need to copy that. So let me delete that guy, realign, download file, document ID from this guy right here. Document ID, save, send workout plan, email, change that variable because this is the Google form route. What is your email address? Boom, just like that. And this is going to be an email address always because in our Google form, we set some data validation. So what is your email address? We set our response validation, text, email. It needs to be an email. And if it's not, it's going to hit them with, please enter a valid email address. So it'll always be an email address. This is something that you want to pay attention to. If you ever have forms in your automations, you want to use, whether it's regular expressions or data validation like this, you want to set up your forms that way so that you run into as little or no errors as possible down the line. And then the full name, we're going to map in what is your full name, that variable right there, and hit save. Webhook response is 200, hit save, realign everything. Now let's add some error handler. So right click on the OpenAI module, add error handler. We're going to say break. And then we're going to say number of attempts. We're going to change these attempt intervals to 60 minutes. Every 60 minutes, try again. Meaning if this runs into an error, we're still going to try in the background 3 more times every 60 minutes. And hopefully within that 3-hour span, OpenAI's API or this module works, right? And then it'll carry on with the workflow. And we're getting this little error message right here because in scenario settings, we need to toggle on allow storing of incomplete executions. Toggle that on to yes, and that will disappear. Realign. We need to add a webhook response module so we can clone this guy, drag him down here on this error handling branch. And we just need to change this status to, you could do 400 for an error or 503. If you go to this website right here, http stat, if you go to this website right here, http stat.us, it has all these status codes and what their what their messages are or what they're used for. 400 is just a bad request. 503 is more typical, like service unavailable, right? That's why I'm doing a 503. But I think either one, as long as it's an error code that shows failure, then you should be good. Because remember, in VoiceFlow, we have this failure route right here. So it'll make the API request, and then if it hits that specific webhook response module, it's going to throw the error code, and it's going to know, hey, this failed, travel down this route. Oops, looks like our system's down. Maybe come back again sometime. Sorry, have a nice day, right? Because we have the break module configured, it'll try 3 more times. And hopefully one of those attempts will work and they'll still get their workout plan. It might just be in a couple hours and they'll still be happy. They'll probably be pleasantly surprised to see it in their inbox. So shift, drag, copy. Let's right click, error handler, break, 60, save. And then let's clone this guy, drag him down to this branch, realign everything. So we're throwing the status code of 503, which will be a failure. Let's hit save. Cool. I think that is everything we need to build out. Now, you can see in the beginning when I was sharing this with you guys, you can see this looks a little different. Why is that? Why do we have 2 different routes right here? It's because when I was testing it out last night, sometimes the assistant was right here in the output results underneath schema, sometimes the OpenAI assistant was nesting all of these variables. So plan overview, week 1, Sunday, Monday, all those variables. It was nesting it underneath another collection, a separate collection titled properties. And for that purpose, it made it so that I couldn't map out any of these data. It was inconsistent. So because it was inconsistent, what I'm getting at is as long as this module right now, currently how this is configured, is following the exact structure of schema collection and then all of the listed variables right there, it's going to work out perfectly. But this one with 2 branches right here, and I'm probably going to build this out for you guys, I'm saying, hey, I set up these 2 filters. I'm saying, hey, if the result, right, if the output from the OpenAI assistant module follows this style, so this pattern, result.schema.properties, if that exists, then travel down this route. And I have everything mapped out like so. So you can see in just a bit once this propagates, I have it mapped out like this. So result.schema.properties.plan overview. Can you see how that's different than this guy up here, which should be result.schema.plan overview. Result.plan overview. It doesn't even have the schema, right? So because of that, I just wanted to make sure that whatever this assistant throws out, whatever pattern, because I was getting 2 consistent patterns messing around with it, I want to make sure that it travels down one of 2 routes, depending on the output result. If that makes sense, I hope you guys are following. So that way it's still taken care of. The user has no idea. It doesn't even matter, but it provides the exact same results. So you'll probably want to build it out that way. You want to test out your automations. If you're running into an issue that looks like that, then you'll want to configure it this way. I'll go ahead and add both of these blueprints for you guys. So this one, as well as this one with 1 route, right? Today on this demo, I'm not having that issue. It's consistently outputting this way. So result, schema, and then all of the listed variables. I'm not running into that issue that I was last night. So I'll have both of these blueprints, these make.com blueprints for you guys so you can try one out over the other. And yeah, now that we have everything configured and built out, we need to test out the voice flow bot and the Google form response. So back here to the roadmap, we built out our make.com scenario. Let's go ahead and test out our chatbot all the way from beginning, right? And let's double check and see how these are adding to the spreadsheet right here. So we can see that the timestamp, we are adding, the timestamp might need to be different. We might want to format that and use the date. So back in make.com for this route, instead of using timestamp, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do this format date, open parentheses, and then we're gonna insert the date of now, semicolon, and we're gonna format it. Let's format it the exact same so it stays consistent. It is going to be month, day, year, and then the hour, minute, and seconds, I'm assuming. We'll just do 1 capital M, right? If we did 2 capital M's, we run into an issue for the months of January through September, because the way that we have it formatted in our spreadsheet, it's not 02/15/2025. It's just a single month placeholder. So hence 1M. And the single M placeholder works for all months. I figured that out on a recent build of mine. So scratch both M's. We'll do M, is it dash or slash? It's slash. M slash day slash year, semicolon. And then we want the timestamp to follow this right here. And I think what we can do, we can try hour, colon, minute, colon, seconds. I wonder if that works. So we'll do HH, colon, MM, colon, SS, close parentheses. I think that might work. Let's hit save. And let's just try it. Let me right click and run that module and see what that looks like. Let me just hit OK. It'll create a record. And let's go to our spreadsheet and see what that looks like. Okay, so I guess that didn't work. with the hours and seconds, what we could do is, I guess, just get rid of those seconds, the second placeholder, like so. Hour, colon, minute, save, right click, run once, or run this module only, go back. And we can see that didn't work. I wonder if it needs to be capital hours and minutes. We can see in the pattern right here, space. Oh, okay, I see. We're in the time zone field, so we didn't need a semicolon. So we're gonna do hour, semicolon, or colon, seconds, close parentheses, like so. All in one field. Hit save, right click, run this module only, hit OK. Back in our spreadsheet, we can see that it is perfectly formatted, just like it would be from a Google Form submission. So month, day, year, timestamp. Month, day, year, timestamp. Let's say run once, or let's hit save on our scenario, run once, and let's go back to our VoiceFlow chatbot and start a new chat. And let's just test it out one more time, make sure everything looks good, and then we'll check my email to make sure that I got the workout plan. So yes, please. We'll say Chill. Thank you, Chill. Could you please provide me with your full name? Chill Guy. What is your email address? We'll just use mine. Awesome. And then we just go through the questionnaire. Cool. Thanks for sharing. We're building your custom workout plan now. Expect to see it in your email inbox soon. Good luck with your workouts. Have a nice day. And currently, the chat hasn't ended. Currently in make.com, it's building out the workflow. So if our user is done, they don't want to hang around, they can leave. They'll probably close out of the chat. But if they do hang around, what is going to happen is once this builds out and sends the email and the webhook response, back in VoiceFlow, you can see that it carried on the conversation and it said, I just sent it over. Thanks again. Bye. And then the chat ended. So that's perfect. And because in make.com it was successful, we can see in my email, if we open up my email, we can see, hey, as promised, here is that 30-day fitness plan tailored just for you, blah, blah, blah. Thanks, Chill Guy, Mason. And we can open up the fitness plan and we can see our PDF, our personalized 30-day workout plan. We've got week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4 schedules with all of our workout plans specifically tailored just to us. And we also have our warm-up routine, cool-down routine, and motivational tips and special instructions. Perfect. I absolutely love this. This was a really fun build. Now let's go ahead and test it out for the Google form submission. So back in make.com, I'm going to say run once, go to a Google form and submit another response. We're going to do Chill Guy again. Email address is my email address. And I'm just going to fill this out really quick. Injury, I'm going to say I have a slight knee injury. I just have a slight knee injury. I'll say lightly active, moderate and balanced. Nothing else I want my coach to know. Hit submit. Cool. In the background, that apps script, the Google Apps script is running and it should send the response over soon. Perfect to make.com. It's currently coming up with the fitness plan. This is the part that takes the longest. And in this Google form, you can probably change the response to be, awesome, thanks so much. We are working on that build out for you, that personalized fitness plan. You should see it in your inbox in the next 2 to 3 minutes. So it successfully ran and we got that webhook response. It sent the email. If we go to my email, you can now see that new one. So as promised, here's that 30-day fitness plan. Again, this is for Chill Guy, but I changed up the responses. So, and sometimes you run into this issue with Google Drive and PDFs. It's currently trying to, there we go. It just had to take a sec to load up. So awesome. This looks a little different. If we go down to the very bottom, we should see there was a problem loading this page. It's retrying. Maybe if we click out of it and click back into it, it'll show up. Or not. In any case, the preview isn't working, but the data is still there, right? If you download it, you should be able to see it. So if we click download and then go to the actual file and scroll down to the very bottom, we can see, cool, for our warm-up routine, we got that, blah, blah, blah. Special notes and instructions. Be mindful of your knee during lower body exercises. Cool, it took into account that injury that I provided it. Again, very simple template. You can customize this to meet your needs and look a little better. This is just very basic. So going back to our roadmap, we tested out the chatbot and the Google Forms. So we are good, we're golden. Now it's just a matter of deploying the chatbot to our website, embedding the Google form on our website as well, if we want, on a separate page. Because some of our customers are going to hit our website, they're going to be interacting with the chatbot. Some are more inclined to go to an about page or, separate pages on your website and find that form there, right? You just want to, this increases the chances of gathering those leads. If we go back to the CRM, right, the Google Sheet, we can see, oh, okay, and we have a problem right here. So this is something, looks like this. Oh, it's probably because we didn't map in, okay, we did not map in the variables into this right here, which is really, and that's kind of weird because what is your full name? We're mapping in the full name variables. That's very strange. Let's hit save. Let's go back and look at the history. So I think it was 2 runs ago. It should have traveled up this route. Let's just take a look and see what happened. So timestamp 053649, 053649. Oh, I see what happened. Okay, so this is what's going on. These don't matter. We were testing out with no data or variables. This is what's going on. So this response right here was from our voice flow agent. So it's adding that row at the very bottom. Whenever we have a Google form submission, it's looking like it's adding it right here from here on out. So you can see right here, if we just delete these guys right here, so hit delete rows, we can see, do you see how this is this looks a little different? So 17, 39, 28, this was from our Google form submission, the most recent response. So for whatever reason, when we submit from a Google form, it's going to the last row that was added from the last Google form submission, and it's adding a new row right there. And then from this guy right here, the add a lead to the CRM, it's adding it from the most previous row period in the spreadsheet. That's what's going on. So it recorded both of them and we're still looking good. Other than that, I'll be sure to include the blueprint files for this one, the build that we just did on the demo today. And I'll also include this blueprint for you guys as well, in case you're running into that issue with OpenAI, the assistant, outputting in 2 different ways consistently. I'll include this as well just for reference to you guys. Hopefully you don't run into that issue and you can just use this. So I'll also include this Google Doc template for you guys so you can build off of it or just use plain as is. Maybe you could turn around and sell this to gyms or personal trainers, right? This system that we built today is very valuable. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want the blueprint files to just import directly into your make.com accounts and voice flow accounts, I'm also going to include this voice flow chatbot blueprint file, this template file that you can import directly into your voice flow accounts. All of that stuff, if you want it, go ahead and hop over into the AWA Pro community and you can sign up and get access to all of my templates in the template library. I have so many new builds, new automations that are in the queue just waiting to be built out. I'm going to build them out, test them, and then rebuild them on these tutorial videos for you guys. Lots of exciting stuff coming down the road. Be sure to stay tuned. My name is Mason. This is what I do. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you need help connecting any of these services to make.com, so your Google Sheet or OpenAI, or maybe your Gmail. If you're using a regular Gmail account, I'll have all of that information down below in the description or in the resource files if you're watching this in the community. Thanks, guys.